How's it going, everyone? Vince with On to the Next podcast. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this, for one. And if this is your first time listening and you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it right now. That way you can get to future podcasts. It's not always going to be just me. I have some really cool guests that I have lined up, but this one's going to be a solo episode, and I'll explain a little bit why I'm doing a solo episode right now. But guys, episode 26, let's do this. On to the next.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I'm still kept at 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it.
All right, everybody. I am fired up today. I have a lot of things going on. Been super busy. Been neglecting my On to the Next podcast just a little. At least the channel. I haven't been able to do the short reels like I have been over the last 20 plus weeks now. And it's like, man, I'm so disappointed in myself, but I'm doing some other things right now. I was with a great guest last week, Nancy Martz, and I still need to put a short reel for her because there's some things that she's doing, and I want to link her business, and that way everybody can see and have the opportunity to check out what she's doing. But guys, it was a couple weeks back. I talked about focus and how that looks for you guys. Well, it's kind of the same what I'm talking today, but I happened to roll across a TikTok, and it was with a 19-year-old gentleman, and I can't talk today. Too many energy drinks. But I came across a 19-year-old gentleman that he was passing a football field, and he pretty much said, you're being the football industry is being exposed for wasting your time and taking you away from making money. And this kid, and I shouldn't say kid, he's 19 years old. He's a young man. Guy's already a millionaire. And so I went down the wormhole before I was like Mr. Judgy about him. And I didn't want to come across like this guy is just all about money, because a lot of the things that he's talking about, he's kind of been talking about some of the same stuff that I have, in saying that God has to be priority in everything that you're doing. That has to be your main focus. Your top priority, God, your mental, your spiritual, which is God, your mental, and then your physical. And guys, he is saying that God is on the top, but and I want to, like I said, I'm trying not to judge the kid, because he is, he has a good point about having distractions in our lives, but I think it's to the extreme sometimes when people say you can't do anything except focus on making money. Making money has to be the most important thing in your life. And guys, that is so not true. If making money is the only thing and the most important thing in your life, and yes, it is important, but I think then you're taking God off the top of your totem pole, like Sean Wardrop said in a previous episode. I really believe, and so the TikTok was saying he's passing by a full football stadium, talking about how we're out there wasting our time cheering on a couple guys for something that they're not even helping you out with. These guys have nothing to do with you. They're out there for themselves, and you're out there cheering them and helping their cause. And yes, that is very true, and kind of why I wore my hat. I'm a Broncos fan. It's football season, guys, and women. I know a lot of women who are more fanatical than some guys. So yeah, it is football season. Um, college. I mean, I know so many college fanatics. I mean, that's their alma mater. So that's their they live and bleed by the colors of their college alma maters. And I don't. It's like, man, there's a certain pride to it. Well, guys, I grew up in Colorado, and when I grew up, my dad was a Bronco fan. My grandfather, my grandparents were Bronco fans. And so it was kind of in us. And I don't see it as a waste of time to go out there and cheer for something else besides what you're doing. And yes, does it take away from making money at that point? Yeah, it probably does, but I think we need these outlets sometimes in our life to help us to take a step back from what we're doing sometimes and be able to have those things in our lives. So, I talked about focus, but you could be focused on something, but taking a step back, taking time. And with me, I watch a lot of the games with my son. It's a time for me and him to spend that time with each other. One Sometimes I'll be watching with my dad, or I'll watch it with friends, and it's that time for us to cheer for a team that we support, we love, and man, that is such a good time in our lives. Sometimes it doesn't end up the way we want it to. Sometimes our teams lose, but it's that time that we have with each other. And some people do take sports to an extreme. And this guy, this young man, might have been burnt by somebody in his life that was taking it to an extreme, not paying attention to him. I don't know the story. I don't know his story of why he is so bitter against whether it be sports teams or something taking away your focus. Because um, yes, it is important to make money for your family and to provide, whether it be for your family, for yourself. But when is enough enough? And I really believe that so many people get caught up in needing to make more, making it so they let it consume their lives to where everything is important. Everything I have, all the cars in the world. I have everything in the world, but you look around you and you're like, man, I don't have that sense of family, friendship, and I've known guys, and I've seen many guys and women where they'll exclude and take everybody out of their lives for the cause of money, and man, sometimes it's really disheartening to me because um right now I'm in a phase where, man, I'm chasing something that I want to do. I want to set up my kids, I want to set up my grandchildren to be to set them up in a position to where they have something, the financial stability is in their future. And but one way of setting that up is letting them find their own way also, because yeah, I don't want them to be dependent on what I have. I want them also, and I think I've done a good job of that, of saying this is how you get to where you need to get to be successful. But in saying that, success, and I've talked about this so many times, talked about it on my previous podcast, success is not always financial success. Success is not always about money. And I could argue that statement over and over again because I've met plenty of financially wealthy people, and sometimes they could be the most miserable people. And that's so hard to see. But I've also seen financially people who are so happy that they're in that position. There's the gratitude that they're in that position. Their family is happy in that position. And I think it's the way you go about it. And I think those people who are fully happy with their wealth, their financial wealth, their well-being, I think then you kind of think they've kind of figured this out, because they got their family all around them. They got friends that really appreciate them, respect them, and are not just around them for that financial stability. And that's success right there. I always think about, and I mentioned football season right now because we're right on the cusp of the NFL season, college season. High school football has already started. That was such a big part of my life over the last, I want to say 8 years, because it was with my son and my daughter. She was highly involved with the football team, and she was a team manager, and so it was so cool to see her a part of it. But um, that's also a huge thing. And I think even on the other perspective of how football has helped so many people get to where they're at, and it's not always financial. Sometimes the confidence, the team building of football has helped so many kids. And it could go with all sports. It could go with soccer. It could go with golf. It could go with, I mean, because even golf, you're on a team in high school and you're part of a group. Even PGA golfers right now, they're part of an elite group of golfers that they're kind of a team within themselves. Even though they play against each other, there's the camaraderie and the understanding of being with each other and knowing what it's like. And so I I don't look at I wanted to make this episode about like what's really distracting you outside of your goals, your financial goals, because that's what I believe that's what this kid is trying to state, because he put on his own post, because this is not somebody else's post, it was his. He said he mentioned he's 19 and he's a millionaire, and that and he exposes the NFL for, or football for what it is, and it pretty much saying it's being a distraction. And man, I just don't see it that way, because I think that um with anything, you could find anything to be a distraction. I think money could be a distraction from getting to a successful goal and where you want to be. Sometimes we could get so caught up in chasing money that it could distract you from being a good father, from being a good mother, from being a good friend, or husband. Anything. It's something that I really believe that you could say anything is a distraction if you're so. And I talked about focus a couple weeks back. If your focus is geared in the wrong way, um, it could it could be considered a distraction. It could take you away from everything that you really wanted to succeed at growing up. I think about when I was younger, and how does my future look for success? As kids, when we're younger, I want to be a firefighter. Oh, I want to do this. I mean, there's kids that see, they'll look at the window and they'll see the whether it be the sanitation guys taking out the trash, and they're like, man, I want to drive one of those big trucks one day. Or uh, success could look in so many ways, because some kids, I've known a lot of people, like even um, I look at my cousin. She always was um, her her focus was always towards learning Spanish, being engulfed in the Mexican culture, and she would always take these trips out to Mexico, and to be a part of, I guess, uh, a student. How do I say? I don't even know what it's called right now. I can't think of it. But she would go out there, live with the family, and be a part of their culture for a couple weeks. Come back here, and it was her learning the culture, learning the language of Spanish, and now she's a successful Spanish teacher that she's been doing for many years and had a lot of success at it. And that was kind of her dream. That was kind of her. She was so focused on that that she ended up doing that as an adult, and that's a great thing that you're passionate about something and you go to that. Some people think, well, once they get to a certain age, I need to just be passionate about money. Money has to be the only thing that matters to get to where I need to go. And I it's just not always like that, guys. I really believe that it's not always like that because there's so many parts to life outside of that that could take you to where you need to go. I wasn't making like a ton of money when I was um first starting out when I had my kids, but I was able to do a lot of the things that I really wanted to do. And did I need money? Yes, I did. And I worked my butt off to make that money. But I also thought, well, how could I do that and still have some of the things that I wanted to have? And man, it that is it's so important to realize that because during that time I was still watching football games. I remember even sometimes I was part of like fantasy football leagues, and um, it's just not letting those things consume you to the point of taking you away from everything else, taking you away from I can't even pay attention to my kids, my family, my wife because this is all I want to do. Fantasy football is my life for the next 3 4 months, and that's all that matters. That can't be the way it is, guys. It can't be the way it is because then you become like I the distraction becomes more than your goal of your success. And as I said, success doesn't always mean financial money success. That's not what I'm saying. I think success is something if you attain and it's if you're attaining something that you are fully happy with, you're content with. And I think that's a lot of it, of being content in where you are. Sometimes I hear so many motivational speakers, motivational people who say, if you're content in your life right now, then you're stuck. You're not moving. If you're not moving, you're not doing. And sometimes I'm like, man, but when does it come to the point where I just I need to find the point of happiness and what is happy for you, your family, and kind of what makes your world go around. And it's not always about money. And this and I am happy for this 19-year-old young man that is financially he's done it. Well, I mean, he's probably thought, man, I'm ready to get to a billion. But he's right now stating a lot of his posts are about I make millions now. I have cars now. He puts God in there and he says God's the most important thing, but I at the same time so much of it is about the cars he drives, the money that he makes. He's a millionaire and he states this a lot. And I proud for him. I'm happy that he's making the money and that success is there. And if that's his success in what he wants to do, great. But that doesn't have to be for everybody. And that's where this young man is not seeing that not everybody has to be a millionaire to be successful. Would it be nice? I think everybody would say, man, I would take $1 million and what would I do with it? But some people get the $1 million, multi-million dollars, they don't even know how to be with it. I mean their success is failed because they don't know how to be with that success. So they want to tell everybody, well, this is what success looks like, but we don't see the behind the scenes. Is this guy truly happy? And I hope and I pray that this young man is truly happy in his life. in being successful financially, because that's amazing. But it's just not always like that. So, guys, I just wanted to get on and kind of vent about this because, like I said, I'm a football fan. I love watching football. Denver Broncos, orange and blue, it's in my blood. And if you're outside of Denver, I'm sorry, but that's just who I am. But you understand, because it doesn't matter what fan you are of what team, or if it may be college, it may be um, NFL, it could be um, a national soccer team. That, I mean, there's those people are fanatics. I've seen those stadiums just at another level of intensity. You know, and it goes for all sports: basketball, hockey, whatever it is. I mean, people sometimes that's just their outlet, and they could be successful in one thing, and that's moments they share with their kids, with their spouses, with their parents, and sometimes those moments are like those are successful moments. And yes, you are cheering for other people, and you're cheering them on to be successful, and it's always good to see other people succeed. I love watching when a new player comes on the team and it's an underdog. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure you do. Terrell Davis, the guy was considered an underdog coming into the NFL. I believe he was a sixth round pick, great running back out of college, but then he gets to the NFL and he goes over. They have a preseason game. They're in Japan, and he's like, I'm not gonna play. I might as well just get a ticket home before the game. And he got to the point where he was calling his mom. He was trying to get the ticket. He couldn't get the ticket before the game, so he's like, I guess I'm gonna play in the game. Well, he goes out. He shows out in the game, makes this huge tackle, gets the attention of his coach, ends up having a Hall of Fame career. And man, I love watching those stories. I love watching, like, even if it's kids that I've known from high school, I like seeing them. Man, I seen that kid playing on a football field in high school. Now he's in college and he's changed his life, possibly changed his family's life, and seeing him succeed. So I don't think it's bad to cheer for other people. I don't think it's always bad to be a cheerful one for another person. And it goes like that with you and your family. Sometimes we're on the sideline cheering our kids on, cheering our parents, cheering our any part of our family to get to that point. But it doesn't always have to be about us. It doesn't always have to be about chasing that millions, you know. So I I mean, I don't think I know it could block you and deter you from getting onto your next. Some of the things, if you're overly consumed in some of the things. I've seen the bad side of fanatics. There was a documentary about a fan who was going around the country robbing banks to get to his team's. I won't say the team because I just won't talk about it. You'll have to look it up. Fan robs banks to get to his sports, and he was one of the biggest fanatics out there in the NFL. And he ends up getting caught, but he was so focused on that part of, and it was destroying everything around him. And so you see that kind of thing, and you're like, okay, I can see how it could be a distraction, but I'm not looking at it from that point. I'm looking at it from a point of, like, sometimes you need to just take that moment and take those moments, because your financial success, it will be there, but sometimes you need those outlets to kind of like take back, reset, and then go back to your focus. And sometimes it inspires you, seeing those guys on the football field, on the courts, on the greens, whatever it be. And you're just like, man, if I could have that discipline in what I'm doing, I'm gonna go out there and focus on it and get out, um, and do that in what I'm doing. So it's not always a distraction to get onto your next. And I just want to put that out there because I seen this. Like I said, I seen the young kid, and I'm I'm cheering for him. I'm cheering for him to continue on in his success, and hopefully it comes with his happiness. Hopefully it's just not a hollow happiness and success for him. I really hope for him that that success and that financial success that he has is full. And I really believe that if it is, or if it is full, then man, dude, I am so happy for you. And I'm not gonna put his name out there, but if you look at 19-year-old millionaire, he's, I mean, it might pop up, but I'm cheering for you, dude. Because I want to see success for you. But I'm also, like I said, I'm still gonna cheer for the Denver Broncos, the CU Buffs, the Colorado Rockies, Colorado Avalanche, Denver Nuggets. It's just where my heart is. Um, I love watching sports. I love playing golf. And I there's things that I do that are outlets that kind of let me take myself back a little to get to still get to that point of success. So guys, just a rant for me. Um, Make sure those things aren't blocking your success. Just let them be an outlet for you, because I know so many people that watch sports that they just enjoy doing it with their families. And guys, have fun with it. Um, I pray for your success, and everybody, I hope that you're on to the next is it's fulfilled in every way possible, that that is not a distraction from anything else. I hope that your success is a fulfillment to you and your life and your family's lives. Guys, God bless. Talk to you later.
Play, 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 play. Put on